Hi everybody, Mike Castelluccio, and this is my final video for the Advanced Design Seminar 6030, and my project was microscope studies. This is a study in the use of microscopes in collecting images, either with a cell phone or learning how to use a microscope and observe microscopic samples with either a traditional scope or a modern alternative. We started, like I said, with a traditional heavy benchtop microscope, very large, very expensive, and figuring out ways to have students hook up their phones to take images through the bench microscope. Great if you have a bench microscope, but if you don't have one, it makes it a little challenging. Then we found an alternative of a paper microscope, as shown here in our slide, called Foldscope. These cost about $1 or $2 each, and they're portable. So using all of the Google Sites and Google toolkits that we have, so Google Sites for our webpage, Google Docs, Drive for images, Google's survey for our question and answer sections, YouTube, which is actually part of the Google universe. All of these components were done under this one framework, so everything was seamless, it integrated well, and it was portable. So you could look at the website and the videos and the instructional components, whether you're on a laptop or on a cell phone out in the field. Because it's all under the same framework, it's sized appropriately. So looking at the website with your PC was just as easy as looking at it with a cell phone, and it would scale to the cell phone properly so it actually fit the screen. I was able to get a hold of a small audience of sample students to see how they would react to this project, how they could go through the steps and take one of their paper microscopes, build it, collect actual images, take pictures with their cell phone, and upload it to the Google site. And I collected some statistics on how it worked for them. Most students started off strong and didn't finish. There were some adjustments on how I can make this a little better next time, and I've got some thoughts on doing this again this summer, maybe in the fall with other classes and actual live classes. But they're so inexpensive, it's easy to be able to just hand out 20 or 30 microscopes to students at $1 or $2 each and say, go out, find some images, post them to the Google site, and let's see what everybody comes back with. The learning environment was based on videos and a lot of imagery. So because we're studying optics, we're studying imaging, we're spending a lot of time looking at videos, looking at pictures, looking at diagrams. This is not a text course. This is a visual course because it's microscopy. So you want to see things. You want to learn about how the light works, how the bending of light works as to create magnification. Did some great videos on shining light through different optics from an actual microscope and see how the light would change as it enters and exits the lens. It demonstrated how images were enlarged as you look at them through the different lenses in the microscope. So really a lot of imagery, a lot of videos. The assessments, like I said, were using the Google Forms, and they needed some adjustments, they needed some work, and this will be developing further as I get deeper and deeper into the rubric side of stuff and into developing different forms for the courses. The main drive this go around was basically to see that it worked and that students would be able to follow the steps and produce images and post them to the website. Sequence, like I said, describe the microscope with a physical and then move into the mobile and into the portable. And the progress is basically, I wanted to see the students discover items in their environment as opposed to just presenting them items that we wanted them to look at. So giving them the foundation and letting them build on the tools and build on the knowledge, we could prepare them to a point where they could go out and find and discover other things to photograph and other things to share. So some of the stuff that came back from our sample students was interesting. Never thought of looking at those samples, but there they are because the kids wanted to see what they look like. Technology, like I said, everything is portable. I wanted to make it so this entire course could fit on a cell phone and walk out the door. And the microscope, because it's a portable paper microscope, can go outside and collect images and use it anywhere you want. Store the images, upload them when you get a good cell phone connection, or right there on the spot if you have a connection. So like I said, the paper microscopes were great. They were very simple to use. The devices were individually wrapped, and it was an origami kit to build a microscope and to hold samples with magnets that you would make on little pieces of paper, snap them in place, and the magnets held everything, and a magnet stuck on a cell phone would be able to view everything through the one piece of equipment. So really ingenious tool, inexpensive and effective. Expanded pilots over the summer and maybe into the fall. Even if it's just on my own, I want to see how this works with students as it presented in a course. So if the students had to actually deliver final images, if they were put in groups or if they're put in individual studies, how would they behave? How would they react to this stuff? And like I said, the student came back with some interesting stuff: dirt, moss, and you can see some actual structure in the moss. And my favorite was strawberry cereal. Who knew? Let's look at some strawberry cereal. So the Google site is pretty straightforward. There is banners across the top and navigation that I built within the page itself. A lot of images, a lot of videos. The microscope is basically describing how everything works. These are where we would build some of the inquiries and some of the test questions that we want to put together. The microscope had lots of embedded videos. Like I said, the one to describe how magnification worked with flashlights and with optics. The actual process of building an actual slide. So not only in an animation form, but in a step-by-step, block-by-block form to show the students how it's done and prepare them if they wanted to actually make slides on an actual lab microscope. The slide also does work for the Paperscope. And like I said, the Paperscope comes as you see here in this video. It's a small pouch with paper. It's like a plastic coated paper and magnets, and everything folds together and everything snaps together with the magnets, so there's no tape or glue that you have to worry about. The actual process of putting it together was described and animated. So this video from me putting together a couple of microscopes with other videos from the manufacturer and from other resources that are out there, it was really intuitive to put it together, use it, and once the students built the microscope, making the slides was just as easy. They could take these pieces of paper and put tape on them, collect whatever they want, stick it on there, and the magnets held everything in place. And then taking images with your camera that was in your phone was all done through that little pinhole. And it's a single lens microscope, which is one of the fundamental microscopes that were invented back when microscopes were first discovered. We did some other projects collecting microorganisms, so using vegetable matter from either the backyard or from the kitchen, and I video for the students what the stuff actually looked like that grew in a jar of water over a period of a week from dirt and leaves that were collected in the backyard. More videos, again, are a little description of how the brine shrimp experiment went and some videos of the brine shrimp swimming around. And here at the finale of the course, the students that posted stuff actually posted stuff to a Google Drive site. So there was linked with a tiny URL. Students could post right from their phone, upload to there, and the bigger goal would be to have a whole classroom of students collect information, post to the site, and then maybe discuss within a class experiment or a classroom situation where they could either use these images for gamification and figure out what's in the image, or maybe vote on who came out with the best image. But the whole idea was working them through the process of building the microscope, understanding how it works, collecting images, photographing them, and uploading them to the web. So that was my project. Thank you for taking a few minutes and looking at the work we put into it. Hopefully we'll be putting in more over the summer and in the fall. I expect to go around this summer and collect some more pictures just of stuff that I can find in the backyard and out in the woods now that the weather has gotten a little warmer. So this is Mike Castelluccio. Thanks again.